Alright guys, so before we start, do you have some space, or just do this on the back? Okay, flip it over to the back really quick. Okay, so if I gave you this problem. Oh, did I give you an extra? Oh well. Okay. Alright, so over on the back, I want you to do this problem really quick. So 2x plus 5y equals 12 when x equals 1. So I want you to find y.
What?
I want you to find y. So I gave you an equation with x and y. I gave you the x value. And I want you to find y. Okay. Austin, can you tell me what you did first? Okay. So that is exactly what we're doing today. Okay? This problem is exactly what we're doing today. It's just going to look a little more complicated than this. The concept and the math is not any more complicated. Well, okay. The math might be a little more complicated than this problem, but the concept is exactly the same. When you see x equals 1, what do you do with that 1? You plug it in for x, right? So if I see x equals 1, I plug it in for x. Now I have 2 times 1 plus 5y equals 12. Okay, and then Kogan, what do you do after that?
Multiply 1 by 2.
Okay, so then we have 2 plus 5y equals 12. And then I just solve, right? Now I only have y, and I can solve for y. So I subtract 2, and I have 5y equals 10, divide by 5, y equals 2, right? All right, so this is exactly what we're doing. It's just going to look a little more complicated than this. This is a system of equations because I have one equation, two equations, right? X equals 1 is an equation, even though it's a very, very simple equation, okay? All right, so let's look at our real examples now. There we go. All right, so around to the front. So the only time I want you to put like stars and bubbles and squiggles and everything around this step 1, okay? Because that is the absolute most important step. Make sure you have an x equals or a y equals. This is the only time we are going to use substitution. The absolute only time you're going to use substitution is when you have an x equals or a y equals already. Okay? So in example 1, do we have an x equals or a y equals? Yes. Okay? So everybody look back over to the back really quick. So when you saw x equals 1 on the back, what did you do with 1? You plugged it in for x. Okay? So now flip it back over to your regular paper, to the front side. So I see x equals what? 1 minus 4y. So it's just a little more complicated than x equals 1. It's x equals 1 minus 4y.
So it's like that?
Yep.
Start again?
Okay, so I take 1 minus 4y, and what am I going to do with 1 minus 4y?
Multiply it.
What? Plug it in where? For x, right? So I take this and I plug it in for x. Anytime I plug something in, I always make sure to use parentheses. So I'm just recopying the top equation, so I have 2. In place of x, I'm going to put in what I just had, 1 minus 4y. And then I just finished copying the problem. Plus y equals 9. So all I did was I rewrote that problem, but in place of x, I put in what x equaled, 1 minus 4y. Now this is the part that's a little more complicated than what we did on the back, because this is obviously a more complicated equation to solve than the one we did on the back. But anytime I see parentheses, what do I do first?
Multiply.
I multiply, what's that D word?
Divide.
Distribute, right? So I distribute into the parentheses. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative 4y is negative 8y. Then I'm just finishing. Plus y equals 9. I have variables on the same side, so I do what I see, right? If they were opposite sides, I would do opposite operations, but since they're on the same side, I do what I see. So what is negative 8y plus y? Negative 7y, right? So 2 minus 7y equals 9. And then I just solve. So I subtract 2, negative 7y equals 7. Divide by negative 7, and I get y equals negative 1. What kind of answers did we get when we did elimination? What was our final answer? What did our final answer look like? It's a point, right? It's an ordered pair. What kind of answer did we get when we did graphing? A point. So we need a point here. What are we missing? X, right? We have y, we're missing x. So all of these systems always have to have an x value and a y value that are a part of it. Okay? So the process of finding the x value is just the same that we did yesterday. Pick one of your two original equations. Okay? And can I give you a little hint? Sure. Okay, great. Thanks. Thanks for permission. Okay, if I need an x value, which equation do you think is going to be easiest to use? Why do you say the first one to the bottom one?
Because there's no negative on the bottom.
Okay, there's no negative in the first one. Why did you say the bottom one, Kogan?
X equals.
Okay, if I need x equals is going to be nice for me. Because that means all I have to do is just simplify on the right-hand side. I don't have to go across the equal sign or anything. Okay, so that's generally the one I'm going to pick. But if you were like Joey and picked the top one, you would still get the same answer. Your work would just be a little more complicated, okay? So I take my y value and I plug it in for y. So I have x. So I have x equals 1 minus 4. And what was my y value? Negative 1. That's the one I just found. So now all I do is simplify. So negative 4 times negative 1 is a plus 4. And I just have 1 plus 4 is 5. So I have x equals 5. So then my ordered pair answer is 5, negative 1. Okay? So that's the process of substitution. Okay, and when do we use substitution?
When we don't have, when we have an x equals or y.
An x equals or a y equals, right? So let's go in over here because I know some of you are list people. So let's fill in our steps really quick. So I make sure I have an x equals or a y equals. After that, and this is where it gets its name, substitute. The solved expression in for that variable in the other equation. That was taking the x equals stuff and plugging it in for x. And then once I do that, I should only have one variable. So then I solve for that remaining variable. Once I get that, I plug it in to find my other value. And then I write it as an ordered pair. Okay, so there are my steps, step by step. Sorry? Oh, substitution method. Okay. All right, so let's try example 2. Okay, let's try example 2. All right, so example 2, do you see what you want to see? Do you see an x equals or a y equals on example 2? Yes, you do. Which one is it this time? It's y equals on top. Okay, so I am going to take what y equals, so that's the negative 4x plus 8. And where does that go? In for y, right? Because it's y equals, so it goes in for y. So all I'm doing now is copying the bottom problem but plugging the stuff in for y. So I have negative x plus, and this is where my stuff goes in for y, negative 4x plus 8, and then just finish out the problem, equals 7. So all I did was copy the bottom problem. Come on, Brad. Copy the bottom problem. Oh, you got it already. But just replace the y with the y equals stuff. Okay? Now all I have to do is solve the equation. So I see variables on the same side. So what is negative x plus negative 4x? Negative 5x. So these become negative 5x plus 8 equals 7. And now I'm just solving. minus 8, minus 8. Negative 5x equals 7 minus 8 is a negative 1. Divide by negative 5 on both sides. A negative divided by negative is a positive. And then on your calculator, 1 divided by 5 should give you 0.2. Or you could leave it 1/5 if you wanted to, or you can make it 0.2. Okay, we have an x value. What else do we need? Y value, right? To make my ordered pair, I need a y value also. So I'm going to use the y equals equation. So I have y equals negative 4. My x value that I just found is 0.2 plus 8. So negative 4 times 0.2 should give you negative 0.8 plus 8, my bad. Would end up giving me a 7.2 for my y value. So I have x equals x equals 0.2 and y equals 7.2. So then my ordered pair is 0.2 comma 7.2. All right, you guys go ahead and do the try this at the bottom of the page, and I'm going to be coming around and helping. So make sure you're asking questions if you have them, okay? Okay, so I see a y equals. So I'm going to circle what y equals, and I'm going to put it in for y. So I have 6. And in place of y, I'm putting in the 2x plus 3. Then I have plus 8x, and I have equals 28. So to get rid of parentheses, I distribute. 6 times 2x is 12x. 6 times 3 is plus 18. I still have plus 8x, and I still have equals 28. I have variables on the same side of the equal sign. So I have 12x and 8x. Those combine to make 20x. I still have my plus 18. I still have equals 28. So now I'm just solving. So I subtract 18 from both sides. So 20x equals 28 minus 18 is 10. Divide by 20 on both sides. 10 divided by 20 is a half, or 0.5. Okay, once I get a 0.5, I'm plugging it back into one of my original equations. The easiest one, if I'm trying to find y, is to use the y equals equation. So I have y equals 2. My x value was 0.5 plus 3. So 2 times 0.5 would be 1. Plus 3 is 4. So I get y equals 4. So I have an x value and a y value. I can make my ordered pair 0.5, comma 4.